Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now February 14th of 2020, and ever since the release of Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, a lot of fans have been very worried about the future of the Star Wars franchise and exactly where things are going. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, when we examine the Skywalker saga, specifically the sequel trilogy by Disney, we do know that they went through a very tough production, a lot of changes and adjustments that actually led to a series of deleted scenes because of Kathleen Kennedy and her creative differences with J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio and George Lucas on board for developing the final film of the Skywalker saga. So that's the thing with this film. I think that's one of the main leading causes as to why it feels very convoluted and rushed, especially in the first and part of the second act of Episode 9. Now, I don't know if you guys have been following, but Kathleen Kennedy thankfully no longer has creative control over these new Star Wars films and movies to come in the near future. We're talking about all the TV shows coming out on Disney Plus, like Kenobi and Cassian Andor, and more to come as well as new movies, the new Star Wars trilogy, and a lot more in play here. So, everything related to, of course, Kathleen Kennedy and Mark Hamill, I want to say that this is where things begin to get very intriguing that has to do with Kathleen Kennedy's ways with the Star Wars franchise on set and, of course, during production for this particular Star Wars film. Now, with that being said, now that both Disney and Lucasfilm are currently done with the Skywalker saga and are moving on to their new Star Wars universe that will take fans into a brand new mythology of Star Wars, it's explained that they are also focused on Disney Plus and the TV series to come that will reshape Star Wars as a whole. However, during and after the premiere of The Rise of Skywalker, when Mark Hamill was being questioned about his role in the sequel trilogy era, he engaged in various interviews where he was questioned about Lucasfilm's leadership and how Luke was used. At one point, Mark Hamill stated that Kathleen Kennedy felt it was best for Luke Skywalker to remain as a minor character in The Rise of Skywalker and that Kathleen Kennedy wanted to not focus on Luke Skywalker so much since that would only take the story away from the characters like Rey, Finn, and Poe. Now, when questioned about the meaning of the title, Mark Hamill revealed that this actually came from Kathleen Kennedy and felt that there was no other way for it to title the film and there was no going back. Mark Hamill, in one of his interviews, stated that he was very proud of how Luke was used for the Colin Trevorrow script, but Kennedy had creative differences with Colin on how the character of Luke was used in that film, as well as others. Not just that, but when Mark Hamill was questioned about the production of Episode 9, he stated that Kathleen Kennedy and others had to rush through this thing to get it finished, and that he had changed many parts of the ending, and an ending that he was actually proud of to be a part of, but he wished it could have been much more involved. Mark Hamill actually says that it was Kennedy's idea to do rewrites on the set while filming during its principal photography phase in, of course, early 2019. So, let's go over a couple of parts about this. Now, in early 2019, that's when they were beginning to end principal photography. In case you guys did not know, they started back in August of 2018. So, everything related to what Mark Hamill had to say about Kathleen Kennedy after the premiere, and of course during the premiere of The Rise of Skywalker, it does tell us a couple of things here. The thing that really stands out to me the most is how Kennedy wanted Luke to be a very minor character eventually in The Rise of Skywalker, since it would only take away the limelight from characters like Rey if he had more screen time in Episode 9. That's exactly what they did with The Force Awakens, which was unfortunate because the version of Luke that we got in The Last Jedi, not a lot of people really liked that version. So, given that Mark Hamill was able to talk a little bit about the leadership over at Lucasfilm and how he was very much in tune with how Colin Trevorrow was treating Luke Skywalker. In fact, I don't know if you guys saw, but the leaked concept art is amazing. There's one segment in which Luke's Force Ghost actually grabs Kylo Ren's lightsaber blade, the actual blade itself. And you can see how amazing they wanted to do, sequences with Luke Skywalker as a character in comparison to what we got in Episode 9. Now, granted, I love how Luke lifts the X-Wing out of the water. Is it perhaps too much of a copy of Empire Strikes Back? Maybe, but it's a nice little parallel. I enjoyed it. I really did. But there really could have been so much more. You know, when you look at what Luke Skywalker could have done, that would have been just so, mind-boggling, like a what in the world moment. where in this movie he grabs a saber that was thrown by Rey, versus what Colin Trevorrow wanted to do by Luke Skywalker's Force Ghost actually grabbing the blade of Kylo Ren. Also note that Luke Skywalker tells Kylo in The Last Jedi, "See ya around, kid," and they never really reunite in Episode 9. I think that was another big mistake by J.J. Abrams and Kathleen Kennedy, is that they completely disregarded the fact that Rian Johnson left off that idea that these two were at least going to reunite in Episode 9. And they were going to do that, but a lot of scenes were deleted, a lot of adjustments were made to that particular movie. So, like I say, guys, I would really like to hear what each and every one of you have to say about this below in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Night to moon, we hear them moans again.